My friends, to another video here on the channel. Today we got some more Call of Duty Modern Warfare action for you guys, my friends. We're going to be talking about Spec Ops because we got our first details, our first information regarding Spec Ops in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This is coming via Game Informer because they've actually been covering a ton of Modern Warfare action. They got a lot of interviews and different things like that that have been going up. And they actually posted their Game Informer podcast episode yesterday, where they were discussing their experience playing Modern Warfare and visiting Infinity Ward and all that good stuff. And they got a little bit of information regarding Spec Ops in their podcast episode. And this is what they revealed. So first off, Spec Ops is not actually as big as I thought it would be. So if you guys didn't know, Spec Ops in Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 was 2-player. It's actually 4-player. So Spec Ops is 4-player squads mode, which is still really, really good. 4-player is definitely satisfactory. I guess for some reason, I don't know why, but I guess I felt like a lot of people, not necessarily Infinity Ward themselves, but just a lot of people in general, were kind of hyping up Spec Ops to make it sound like it was going to be like a 50-player mode or something, which I guess wouldn't really work in reality, right? Because you're doing missions. How would you really coordinate with that many people? So that's what I mean. Like 4-player squads is definitely the perfect amount, in my opinion. I mean, maybe 6-player, but when you're getting into 6-player, it's kind of iffy. You're kind of getting into like Destiny raid kind of territory, which would have been cool. Maybe 6-player squads, kind of like how you do a raid in Destiny. That might have been a cool idea. But 4 players, definitely really cool. Double what we had in Modern Warfare 2 and 3. So I mean, I'm down with that. I'm super excited to play through Spec Ops. The other thing is that there are vehicles in Spec Ops. So if you guys haven't seen any of my 20 versus 20 gameplay, there's vehicles in multiplayer as well. There's like ATVs and stuff like that. And then of course you have the tank kill streak, which is a drivable vehicle. But in Spec Ops itself, it's good to hear that there's going to be vehicles. It kind of makes me wonder, though, what kind of vehicles? Is it going to be, things like... I'm assuming tanks are going to be in Spec Ops, since, again, tanks are in multiplayer. I'm assuming maybe, like, ATVs are going to be in there as well. But I kind of wonder if there's going to be other kind of vehicles, such as, I don't know, trucks and cars and maybe those trucks, like those military trucks with, like, the turret on the back or whatever. Things like that. I wonder if those kind of vehicles are going to be in there, or what's the scope of vehicle selection in Spec Ops? Because it could be very narrow or it could be very broad. It could be as simple as like some ATVs and some tanks, or it could be as very broad as like ATVs and tanks and helicopters, and which again is possible because the chopper gunner in multiplayer, again, if you guys don't know, you actually control it with the left stick. It doesn't circle around automatically anymore. It's something that you actually fly around with the left stick, so you get to decide kind of like where you want to go on the map when you're in the chopper gunner. So that's obviously another option. I don't know. I'm really, really curious to see what kind of vehicles and what kind of scope, the vehicles are going to be as far as selection goes. Anyways, furthermore, the Ground War multiplayer map that they played, which is internally being called Downtown, which if you guys haven't heard details on that, essentially it's this really big map for Ground War that they played. I think it was like 62 versus 62 or 64 versus 64. Big game mode. And they're teasing that's going to be up to 100 versus 100. The map they played was called Downtown, and there was like all these skyscrapers and stuff, and then there's like streets and alleys and like alleyways and things like that, and there's different things like that. So that's kind of like the map that they played. Apparently that map is actually a playable map in Spec Ops, so you have a Spec Ops mission on that map, which is really cool because if you think about it, let's say you play that map in Ground War, which is really big. You got like 60, whatever it is, let's say 64 or 62 or whatever it is, 64 versus 64 players. That's over 120 something players. That map's going to play a lot differently in a multiplayer mode like Ground War than it would in Spec Ops when you're like 4 players going through against AI. So I think that's really cool, to hear that such a big map is going to be Spec Ops Mission. Because, again, if you go back to the Spec Ops missions in Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, they're a little bit smaller, right? They're a little bit. They're a lot smaller, right? They're more concise missions. They're not very big. And, from the sounds of it, from the sounds of the fact of this map going to be one of the missions, it sounds like Spec Ops is going to be large scale. You know, even if it's only a four player count, it sounds like the actual missions, you know, will range, I'm assumingly from you know, maybe like kind of smaller, simpler missions to big, large scale missions, which is super exciting. The other thing that I can't remember where, I can't pull up the quote right now, but I'm paraphrasing. But Infinity Ward said something about supporting the game post-launch. I guess, okay, I'm really vaguely paraphrasing, so don't quote me on any of this. Something about, in the way they would support it post-launch would be, they wanted it to be like realistic and authentic and kind of based off of what's going on in the real world, so based off of real world events, but that's like post-launch updates. And I'm vaguely paraphrasing that, but when I heard them say whatever it was exactly they said, it made me think that I don't know how they would do that exactly in multiplayer, but it made me think that if they're going to have Spec Ops, maybe Spec Ops, and I really do hope that Spec Ops is going to be supported post-launch, like with more missions. Because one of the things that was really disappointing in Modern Warfare 2 and 3 was the fact that, you know, once you beat all the Spec Ops missions, there was nothing left to do. And I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed Spec Ops in Modern Warfare 2 and 3. It was like a thing me and my friends did that would, you know, if like one of my buddies, Daniel, he would always come over and, you know, he didn't actually own any consoles. So whenever he came over, he would help me kind of try to 3-star every single Spec Ops mission because it was really hard to do alone. And we would just grind the heck out of it. And it was a lot of fun, you know, doing it like that. But then once all the missions were over, it was kind of like, it felt like, all right, we got, you know, we felt accomplished. But at the same time, you know, at least I felt like, man, I want more. So I feel like it would be a really good idea. And I think I'm hoping, judging by the way they've kind of spoken indirectly, it sounds like they would probably most likely be supporting Spec Ops post-launch. I'm hoping. I'm really hoping because, again, you know, let's say, I don't know how many missions there's going to be at launch, but let's say, you know, who knows, maybe there's like 20 missions or 30 missions at launch, which is a lot, or maybe it's less than that, maybe it's like 10, I don't know, okay, I'm just spitballing, you know, whatever amount of missions there are, and then, you know, maybe they add a couple missions every so often, you know, like every single DLC update, or however they, you know, handle updates and DLC, you know, they add a couple Spec Ops missions or something. I don't know. That'd be really cool. I really hope that's what they're going to do, especially since there's no zombies this year. I feel like Spec Ops is going to be the mode that they're going to consistently update. I mean, you know, with zombies, we usually get, you know, a zombies map every so often. You know, are we going to get like one extra Spec Ops mission every update, or maybe a couple every update? That'd be really cool. I really hope that is going to be a thing, and I would assume it's going to be a thing because, like I said, there's no zombies, and so, you know, maybe they're going to update Spec Ops. You know, who knows? Maybe they'll even add on to campaign at some point. I doubt that. It's probably going to be in Spec Ops because they actually did also reveal that Spec Ops is going to be an extension of campaign. It's going to be kind of like it's going to follow the campaign. So I guess it's going to be extra missions that are linked to the story of the campaign that are going to tie in directly somehow. So I guess in a sense, you know, by adding more Spec Ops missions, you're sort of adding to the story of the campaign in and of itself as well. So again, I expect the Spec Ops missions to be a thing post-launch, and you know, I'm excited for it. Let me know though what you guys think in the comments below. You know, what do you guys think about this new information? Are you guys happy about the 4-player squads mode? Like I said, if you throw in too many players into Spec Ops, it just wouldn't work, right? Maybe up to 6, but 4 is kind of like the sweet middle ground. You know, 2 is a little bit too little. 6, you know, you're kind of pushing it. 4 feels like that sweet spot. You know, the fact that vehicles are in Spec Ops, you know, they're going to be really big maps, like that downtown map that they played in multiplayer, for example, in Ground War. I don't know. I'm excited, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know if you guys were a fan of Spec Ops back in the day during Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. And I don't know, man. It's just going to be a really great year for Call of Duty. Really exciting stuff. A lot of great stuff ahead of us, and I just can't wait to dive into all this content this year. That said, if you guys enjoyed this video, smash the like button, subscribe if you guys new, and catch you guys very soon in another video. Thanks for watching, and like always, until next time, my friends, game on.